with A1, VA's finest DJ. Me and him go way back. I mean, the logical days. Hopkins Park in East Liberty behind the number 2 police station. Just here to chop it up. I'm here to bring the insight behind the DJ and what inspired the music and how he got into it. So we're gonna have you guys meet him. So this is
Hi, my name is A1.
So how far you think we go back?
20 plus years at this point, I think. Yeah, about 20 plus years.
So what's your first memory of music? What's like your first memory of your youth that you can remember?
Oh, my mom sung in the choir. As far as introduction to music itself, but my introduction to hip hop was Curtis Blow America. Changed my whole world. I memorized the whole album back in the day. Even though it was outdated, it wasn't as popular, but it was just like, yo, what is this? And I got introduced to hip hop, and then out of hip hop, I got introduced to Africa Bambaataa, and luckily, I caught on to what he was saying, what hip hop comprised of, because I listened to all of it, right. Jazz, funk, punk, all of that, and the environment I grew up in. If you're not listening to hip hop and R&B, you corny. But I listen to everything. Right, I listen to the heavy metal, Poison, Rat, and all that stuff back in the day. And I got chastised for it. Now I get paid for it. But I already knew those were elements of hip hop. Okay. So I have a eclectic ear and tongue. And I like to experience new things. So with music, I feel like it's a time machine, it's a travel machine, and it's a universal language, and
that's true.
And I've always kept that with me, and still to this day, pays the bills.
I hear you, man. So what do you think? What artists you think that inspired you the most, though?
Wow, artists that inspire me the most. That would be,
Yo.
So the artists that inspire me, I probably say would be the most. When I was younger, seeing Purple Rain.
Prince.
And that stage was everything. I was like, so he's commanding the attention of everyone? And you have to understand, me, I'm a Sigma male. My personality traits are Sigma. So I do a lot of stuff by myself. I'm alone. But I love the stage. So when I get off, it's like almost contradiction. I'm living contradiction. I don't hang out with a lot of people, but I love being in front of everybody and being that moment, and then vamoose. And Prince was like that guy that does that. Vamoose.
Give you everything, but when it's over, it's over.
It's over. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. So that inspired me as far as stage, performing and wanting to be in front of people. That was the illest thing. And then I know growing up, I used to catch Soul Train and catching all the artists on Soul Train. And I used to record it on the VCR, and then I used to imitate what was going on. Public Enemy, Heavy D, everybody that was on there, I would imitate the cadence, the movement, everything. So I had it down pat, by myself.
Right.
It might be weirdo stuff to other people, but I'm like, that was how my childhood was. So it was always there.
Right.
I was built for it. I felt like I was just built for it. And then you get into other things, but I say Prince would be my biggest influence. Period.
That's heavy. So what inspires you to DJ? What made you get into DJing? Besides being in front of wanting to be in front of everybody and that but what made you actually want to get the records, put them on, get the crowd pumped up, get it moving,
Well, Ali, my failed career as a rapper. No, I'm just playing. I had a voice for rhyming, but I didn't have the penmanship for it. And I was already a hip hopper from the early gates, so it was just the evolution into that. After doing different elements of hip hop, and I used to dance too.
Right.
Not necessarily the best on groove, on point, as far as like 112. But this was just, I gravitated to DJing by accident, actually. When we used to do the street level event series.
Okay. Shadow Lounge.
And I used to go to the record stores before that. But when we started doing that, I remember, the DJ wanted some more money. That we're just getting started. We're just getting started. We'll promote you. Do it for free. That kind of thing. We only have so much money. But he was like, nah, we got to up the ante because you're getting more people here because it got popular, right? So I was like, man, we can cut him out.
About a turntable.
And, you was just riding So we were like, we went and bought them Gemini turntables and bought a crate full of records. And then we did that one show, I think was at a school or something.
Pitt University.
Yeah, Pitt University. We did that party. And
they invited us back.
They invited us back. And I was like, I had no idea what we just did, but we did it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes, we did.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes, we did.
And
so,
I think then after that they we got I can't remember my man's name, but he came and did the video for it, had us on PCTV. And
it was that's the thing. People start recognizing us all over the place. But that's before we got into it because I was hosting it.
Right.
I was hosting like Makai Fife. All right, no, this person right here, and all that. So, that not necessarily got my passion for DJing at the time. I got introduced to it.
Right.
So, fast forward, I moved down here. Okay, I'm not really practicing. I had the Gemini turn. I had no idea what I'm doing. I'm over here like, chicken. Everybody chicken. How do you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all make it look so easy. And I remember I was doing house parties here. And I had like a CD joint. And I did this. I ended up lucking up to get into a club. I did a fashion show for something. Big club, enormous. This joint is like, oh my gosh, you're walking in the belly. Like, you just want to just have your eyes glowing and shit. So, can you cuss on this thing?
Yeah,
okay, all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I did this thing. I did the fashion show. Like, I'm not making anything up. Rewind just a little bit, put it in there. All right, so I got there early. I was set up. I'm like, all right, I'm excited. I'm excited as hell. The day before, I set up all my tracks. Since I only had CDs, I'm like, all right, I'm going to mastermind this and put tracks together this way. And I'm getting into the story. Watch this. So that day, I was like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go hit Saburo. Came back. I like, cool. To get ready to start, the fashion show went immaculate. That's all I had to do is ladies walk, play, ladies walk, play, ladies walk. Now it's time for me to get busy. And the first thing that happens was, my dude, hold up. So,
not making this up, yo. This is all real, yo.
Straight up, this is what happened. So I'm over there, and how you get onto the DJ booth, you had to climb on top of the bar, and then you climb on to the DJ booth. So you got to right. And everything. So I got it on there. So I'm like bubbling. I'm like, all right, I can make this last. All right. So going forward, I'm playing tracks, and since I didn't really know how to DJ, I just know how to drop it just on the one.
Right.
It was like, okay. The people were like, okay, and I was just playing stuff I like.
Right.
Key thing. So, and then I remember before I said I set up all my tracks for the day before of what I was gonna play, but I didn't set up everything right. So I was like, I'm gonna go into this reggae set, and I started playing my reggae set, and I only had instrumentals. So the MC for the night, he was like, all right, all right, we're gonna do it like this, and it was still the instrumental. So I'm over here like, yeah, it's not coming. You be like, You wait for that bass to drop. Like, here we go. Boom. Don't even, you know, none of that. Nothing happened. So I'm just playing instruments. I'm like, what happened? What happened? So meanwhile, bloom, 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 bloom. So I'm over here like, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at me right now. And I gotta take it. So I climb down from there and I go to the get to the bathroom. There's a long line out. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever. So I go. I'm like, yo, oh hey, look, hey, I'm the DJ. I need to get in here real quick. I need to go. So get in there. Why are all the stall doors gone? I'm sorry.
All the stalls.
So it's wide open.
High school style.
There is no privacy at this point. So, that happened. Came back. And meanwhile, what I had to put on was a long track. All I had was reggaeton. As a long track enough for me to go do what I had to do and come back.
Right.
There were no Latinos in there. So I get back on there and I start doing it. Now, people start putting on their stuff. This happened before 11:30. I started seeing people just packing up. So I'm over here like, dang. So the club is closed by almost 12. They're supposed to stay open till 2.
Right.
So, you know, the guy didn't even come over there and be like, no, let me see your card. I put cards on every table before it got started. So I want to make sure, you know, I'm gonna get some freaking business.
Right.
I didn't take it really serious. I took it serious, but I didn't take it serious.
Right.
So I bombed the mess out of that night. So 3 days later, some dude calls my phone. He was like, yo, hey, you the DJ from the other night? I was like, yeah. That's me. He was like, yo, man, you suck.
Oh my God.
My little Twillers was hurt. But I was trying to be big hearted. I'm like, yo, what you talking about, man? I will mess you up. You want to see me right now? I'm over here going in. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I was hurt for like a month. I was hurt. So I was like, oh my God, I didn't want to hear no music. I didn't want to see the I was like, I hate this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I did this. And then I had an epiphany moment. I'm like, yo, I'm a hip hopper. I need to take it back to the essence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go get them Gemini turntables out real quick. You know what I mean? Then I started like, okay, I'm gonna take this back to the basics. The time period, my name was Jay Supreme. Jay Supreme. And I was like, man, I'm changing everything. Changing my whole main moniker. I'm going back to the essence of hip hop. Bought a DVD, Jam Master J.
Okay.
Kind of teaching you how to DJ.
Right.
So I followed that. I kept watching. Then I started, and then YouTube was out, you know, and everything. And I started watching certain things like Jazzy Jeff. That's one of my prime like DJs I look at like, yeah, that's my style. That is like, I listen to stuff like this. And I'll watch the videos over and over again. First time will be just the left hand. Second time will be the right hand. Then the left hand, then the right hand. I will watch it, keep watching it. So then I finally got back into the game. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get back out there again. Got my vinyl turntables, but I had to use time code because there's a lot more music that wasn't on vinyl.
Right.
You know, but I still was able, I carried vinyl with me just in case.
Right.
So I finally got my gigs back, and it was one party, then the next party. So in my mind, every time I do a party to this day, that fool who called me is in the crowd. And every time I play to this day, look at me now. Do I suck now? You see what I mean? And that's my inspiration. That's my inspiring story of my DJ stuff. Whatever happened, shits and giggles. Literally.
That is crazy.
But until this day, I still rock the same way because I think that person is in this crowd, you know, and I go all the way in. And then meeting artists and all that and see how I'm not just a jukebox to them.
Right.
They recognize that I'm not a jukebox. So that just, you know, that almost solidified. It's like I wasn't asking to put myself promoting myself like that.
Right.
I just talked with my hands.
So you're already showing you're artist yourself. Not
I'm
just,
artist, right.
Yeah, not just
Not trying to collect
MC
a
or
check.
whatever. Right.
You know what I mean? Not trying to collect the check. And I was doing like dirt ball prices, you know, like it was very, you know, and I was like, man, I just want to get on.
Right.
And I was passionate. I remember at one point, when I finally took it really, really serious, I ended up getting out of my job and started pursuing DJing full time because somebody told me, oh man, you can't DJ full time and live off of it. And that was a challenge to me.
Right.
I'm like, I could do this. I could do that. And I had 3 kids and a wife and supported all of it.
DJ.
Straight DJing. I was DJing 7 days a week. Some days I ain't get paid. I see other big name DJs come in, like from the big, stations and all that. They'll get bread and they'll come to me like, hey, can you wait till next week? No. You know, that's dues paid. But the thing was, like, if I was a butthole about it, like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do this under it. I still came into work. I still do it. Other DJs seen that. So, and then they put in like pointers and stuff like Jack and Spade, which is like one of the big time DJs down here or whatever. You know, he's come over there, just give me pointers and whatever, and then they'll give me gigs. You know what I mean? Majority of my gigs were from other DJs because they know that I'm not going to suck if they put me on.
Right.
You know,
they vouching for you.
Right, they vouching. You know what I mean? And I always honored that. You know what I mean? So it was like so many little different things. So, you know, when I said it before, I take the culture very serious. You know what I'm saying? Because it is like our culture. Like, majority of the DJs here know who I am.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't go and introduce me like, hey, man, I'm a DJ. Check it out. That's like, hey, man, I'm a rapper.
Right.
You know, check me on SoundCloud. Like, yeah,
You
but
should
everybody
get
in
past
DJ,
that
especially after the pandemic, everybody freaking DJ or a rapper. You know what I mean? But I talk with my hands, and every time I kept to that motto, things just went uphill for me. Consistent, you know. So I don't even promote myself anymore. I end up on flyers. I'm like, where did you get the picture from? So,
hey man, but you know they say that, you know, the power of, you know, word of mouth. You know
word of mouth
is always going to be the best advertisement. It's free advertisement. You know what I mean? Like you said, you never know who's watching.
And positive energy.
Right.
You don't do shit half-ass. When you start doing things halfway, you get halfway results. Period. You know what I mean? So when you present yourself, you present everything. One of the artists, Squire, I work with the Fuzz Band, he was like, it doesn't matter if it's just one person in there or 1,000 people there. You put that same energy out. So if it's like a little bit of people in there or whatever, it's a practice session.
Right.
It's a jam session for me. You see what I'm saying? And don't let no other DJ be on the other bill. I'm highly competitive. So I started doing like stuff I've never done before. Like, what you up and this is awesome, you know?
Going behind the back, put the
I'm
leg up there.
I'm highly competitive, so that pushes me. You know, that pushes me in itself. So there's like little mini goals,
So
little mini.
Nothing has changed. So basically,
Yeah, pretty much.
so you're still high energy, going all in 100%,
Yeah.
100 miles per hour.
Yeah. I mean, but DJing like that has got me up and down the East Coast, like different cities. The furthest just DJing I got was like Florida down in some beach or whatever. It was dope. I'm like, I was there for the whole weekend. They paid for everything. And as far as like, but DJing also opened me up to sound. So I started doing sound for bands and everything. So the furthest that sound got me is all the way to the West Coast. I was in the Bay Area. Like 2 weeks.
Never thought you'd be there on somebody else's dollar.
On somebody else, but I made that, you know, I put that in the air.
Right.
I want to travel the world. I don't want to pay for it. So, right before I had some personal issues to happen, I was bound for Korea because I have a plug now for it. And it's coming back again, go to Germany and all that. So I will be traveling to Germany and all that. I already got my passport. You know, this stuff like that I put out in the air.
Right.
You know what I mean? The manifestation. Positive energy comes back around. I believe in that. So I stay away from negative energy. Stay away from those who are miserable. Stay away from those who are unlucky. You know what I mean? 48 laws of power. I applied that particular rule, and everything blossoms from there. As long as you keep that chaos out, everything blossoms there.
That's a strong message. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's hard to keep, you know, negative away because, you know, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're gonna be challenged, and you got to stay disciplined.
Humans are attracted to negativity. You know, period. Because you even take it going back to back in the day. How did Rome keep people in the civilization in check? You know, they started doing gladiator sport. Right. Think about gladiator sport. You're actually going and cheering on somebody to die. This would attracted you. Right. You see what I'm saying? So, but humans just have that attraction to negativity.
It's like rubbernecking when there's an accident.
You know what I'm
want
saying?
to slow down and see the accident versus
exactly.
Getting on and getting to where you need to be. You want to see what's happening.
When you get into the enlightened parts of it, you start understanding that, you know, humans play two roles. Either you're a producer of energy or you're a conduit of energy. There's only two forms of energy. There's negative and positive. Right. Now, either you can produce that negative energy or can be a conduit from somebody else's negative energy and pass it along. It's up to you. Same way it works with positive energy. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like once you become aware that this is you and what you're doing. Right. You know what I mean? There's a camera rolling. All right.
So you're part of the solution or part of the problem. So
that's correct.
So, you know, what they like DJing turntables do you prefer and why?
Oh, Technique 1200s all day. You know, that's one of the things me and my mans, we were like, man, we will never get 1200s because they stopped making them. Right. And then everybody, all the DJs were like, yo, if I'm gonna sell them, I'm gonna sell them to you for this big amount of money. I'm like, dude, I just want tables, man. You know, and but I was gifted 1200s. You know, built 1200s from the ground up from this artist, DJ I Rock Jesus. He used to tour with Sean Slaughter around the world, but TSA tore him up. This is one of the things I put out in the air. Right. I want Technique 1200s. How do I get them? And he was like, yo, if you want to fix them, you can have them. I'm like, hold on. 2 weeks later, my cousin, her boyfriend, he used to DJ back in the day. I seen him at the cookout, like, hey, man, you know what I'm telling him, DJing, you know, whatever. I'm trying to get, hold of some techniques, man. I just got some techniques from a man with him. He was like, yo, I got some techniques in my storage unit, you know. And I'm like, well, how much you want for them, man? You can have them. I'm like, okay. You know, that's my joint. So now I got 2 sets of turntable Technique 1200s, like 4 turntables. So I started, but I took it as a blessing. Right. So I have one that I made. I built the ground up for traveling. That's my white ones right here. That's the ones I hit all the clubs with. That's what these are everywhere with me. And then I have the ones that I just practice at home. So I'm constantly practicing, and I'm out the door, back practicing, back, boom, boom, boom. So, what was the question? Did I hit the question, y'all?
The turntables, why you choose them?
Yeah. Oh, the turntable 1200s, but right now I moved over to Rain 12s. Okay. The Rain 12s are, I try to stay away from the controllers, because it didn't feel right. Right. So when I got introduced to these Rain 12s, I got on them. I was like, oh, these feel like 1200s. I mean, the power behind it and all that. Right. And the reason why I moved over is that there's consistent. Rain is a solid company. Rain mixers, like all your favorite DJs will be using the Rain mixer. That is a solid mixer. I use a Pioneer mixer, which is another solid. Jazzy Jeff uses Pioneer. Used to use the SM8 or S8 or whatever. One of them. Okay. Anyway, but I moved over to these. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And with dealing with turntables, when you put them in cases, I work so much, you have to keep aligning it. Like it has this ball joints and all that come out of alignment, and it becomes kind of expensive to because it's shaking around in the case all the time. Right. It's not like it's in the record store. You're good. Right. But I'm traveling and I'm working, and then you have the vibration, all that, all these things come into play with those, and there's just wear and tear on them. Then you have your needle situation. You know what I mean? I use M Shore, M58, M44s, and you get a lot of dust boogers. They'll break on you. Right. Like I remember I had to DJ a whole party with one turntable. Right. And that happened. you know, and I was like, man, I got to do something else. And then, but I still kept going. I started buying extra needles and stuff like that. But this came out, I was like, all right, cool. And I've been feeling it. So I've had them for about going on 2 years now. Haven't failed me once. Feels great. No dust boogers.
Right.
You know, dust boogers are like with vinyl, they collect dust.
Right.
You know, and you have to constantly clean vinyl.
Right.
So and I had time coated vinyl. So I was getting a lot of boogers on my needles. And then when you have to take the boogers off, you know, it messes up the needle.
Right.
So, all right.
So what do you think about, you know, like the vinyl resurgence then, since you don't really use the turntables? I mean, the vinyl turntables anymore. What do you think about, you know, like vinyl, like coming back?
That is a pocket that needs to stay alive. That's part of the essence. All this stuff right here, these time-coded stuff and controllers, is emulating. That's what it's doing. It's emulating the true form of what it is vinyl. Right. Now, at the end of the day, all the music is coming out analog for vibrations. That's what is coming out as vibrations. Right. The peripheral that's being used is what you don't want to forget that foothold of it. You know, and when you're like, if you're doing like at home relaxation and just chilling, having a vinyl record play, that little crackle, that little warm feeling, is completely different than me playing an MP3. So I do a lot of, that's the reason that came through education. When I do clubs, when you're playing vinyl through club, like regular vinyl through club, it sounds just the same as this. It don't really matter because the speakers are not, you know, they're not Bose speakers that they're coming through.
Right.
You know,
And people are there to have a good time.
They don't even care. They go, oh my God, my shot, this is so great. I heard this song like 18,000 times. This is so great. You know, it's like, okay,
right.
You know, why would I put myself in that position? Now, as far as key holders or, you know, the people who are keeping it, it's like keeping a language alive, a lost language alive.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I know people who do that, who study that specifically for that. And that's what the vinyl resurgence is. Just like, hey, don't forget about this. This is a lost language. Just because you got all this stuff with his imitator, because you don't want to get like, oh, so why is this doing this? What is that for?
Right.
You know, like, well, this is where it came from. You know.
So do you think you would ever go back to vinyl if you had to?
If I had to, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Especially like here, we'll have all vinyl sets parties.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like DJ B is really good for that. He keeps that alive. And then, you know, this party like kind of like we call it expressions. This is for DJs. We all just show up, and it's kind of like, all right, play what you listen to.
Right.
And then that's why it's called expressions. So you play, and this is all vinyl. Like, you know, I'm bringing all vinyl. You see what I'm saying? And you just wild out. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh snap, because you start forgetting about, like, you really have to mark your record and figure out, put the stickers where it's at and all that. If you're going to do a party, that's the old style of doing it. Now we have everything is digital. I mark my stuff where I want to start at, but back then it was like marking your record, crayons and stickers. I used to use stickers on mine, you know, and you know, it's just good to feel that back. Now, as far as like the people now who would pay to go see these events, not a lot of people who would just do that, because a lot of club goers, they want to hear the newest thing, and that's where the art gets lost. You don't want that art to get lost. Right. See what I'm saying? Because people don't respect it as it was, you know, like that portion of it. So you have that pocket that needs to be kept alive, and I'm glad to see that happening, that people are recognizing that. Like, I have a couple friends, like, I'm buying a record player, I just want to collect vinyl and all that. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. I drove a crate of records to my homegirls in Maryland because she wanted to collect. I'm like, because first I'm like, look, like anybody who said I want to DJ, I want to do this, I'm like, I don't just jump on board like, oh man, you should do it. No, I'll just watch and see how serious you are. And I see you serious, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I got something for you. So I carried a crate records, you know what I mean? Just like, I got it in my trunk for you. Like, here, you know what I mean? Because for me, selling them, I'm like, I just want them to be in a nice home. Right.
Somebody enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like my tape. I just want them to be in a nice home. Like, they're gonna be just going back out to get sold again. Nah, I'm good. Like, the history on it. Like, these were gifted. You see what I'm saying? I was reborn again, and then did another run. These things are like 20 plus years old. You know what I mean? From like the 80s. Dude that got that in the 80s. And it's still running. You see what I'm saying?
They say techniques are built like tanks.
Yeah, man. They're built like tanks. They got a magnetic motor.
So if you was able to talk to like the artists of the day, DJs, MCs, like what would the message be today for them?
Be intentional. Be intentional about what you're doing. Don't try to, don't chase the bag. Chase your art. And once you chase your art, everything will happen when it needs to happen. And sometimes it's not. You have to also realize sometimes it's okay to be an accountant. It's okay to be, a dentist. It's sometimes it's just not designed. You know what I mean? You just have to recognize it somewhere. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can still pursue your passion, but don't like this is it. No, nothing will ever. You know what I mean? Some people, only a small amount of people succeed in it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And and it does take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to do it.
Right.
And that's part of the lessons I learned is that you have to put in time. Can't get distracted. And the work blossoms after that because I make it look easy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying in front of everybody? Like, hey, how do you do that? Like, all I do is open up a Cracker Jack box, put on a little sticker, and then I can do this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but the thing is, it's not for everybody. And like you said, it's a lost art.
yeah.
That people are just doing it for money, and they don't do, like you said, hip hop is just not music anymore. It's a movement. It's graffiti. It's the clothes. And I say nowadays, even we look at Aerosmith when they did Walk This Way with Run DMC. We look at Aerosmith as your hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or we look at Nikes, if it was, or Adidas. We look at Adidas shell toes as hip hop because of Run DMC again. You know what I mean? So it's more of a movement, and I think rock and roll is starting to take on the hip hop movement vibe because there's a lot of people saying, well, why are Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, why are they inducted in the Hall of Fame when they're not rock and roll? But what they're not understanding, rock and roll is just not music anymore.
Right.
Rock and roll has evolved into a movement where it's clothes, it's instrumentals, it's everything. You know what I mean? It's fusion. It's being brought to the forefront of other things. Because if it wasn't, it would die.
Yeah, and that's even with rock. There's that they're trying, because hip hop has gotten so big,
Right.
Dominated so much. Rock has gone like to a, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Well, hip hop wasn't supposed to be around.
Right.
It was supposed to be a flash in the pan, gone by the '80s. Nobody wanted to. That's why a lot of hip hop artists are just now fighting for the royalties.
Right.
Because they don't know how much it was worth, and they didn't think it was worth anything.
Right, because they were just expressing themselves. It was a brand new piece of music. Boom,
Yeah, but you're doing it for the love.
Right.
You didn't feel it. You didn't understand that doing it for the love was paying millions of dollars, and you're being paid pennies.
Yeah, but just like anything, you have to have the grassroots. And grassroots, they may not get all the sunshine because you root. Right. You know what I mean? But now it's grown and everything's getting the sunshine. Getting plenty of sunshine now. And that's when everybody else wants to get interested. Oh, this is no longer a flash in the pan. And because rock was supposed to have been that this is forever.
Right.
And this is the evolution of music. But the crazy thing with hip hop, it just took from different elements. You can go walk this way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we can go rock, we can go jazz, groove. You know what I'm saying? We can go African. We can go anywhere with this. And now, I watch Color Studio show. It takes artists from around the world. I've been getting into France a lot lately, and now South Africa also. And hip hop has expanded to that area. House music. House music is one of those things that come from
Right.
You know what I mean? It's was created, but then other people want different branches on it. But it's still from the warehouse, from disco, and and it just took it further. You know what I mean? And then where did disco come from? You know what I mean? And it's just like you have to respect it. And then if you don't, well, I hate when people try to tell me what hip hop is. Hip hop is how you move, how you talk, what you feel.
How you live.
Right. You don't have to be listening to just this thing to make you hip hop.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I'm one of those different, like, I've always been that different person.
Right.
So you can't tell me I'm not hip hop. Hip hop saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I took care of the entire family on hip hop.
Hey man, hip hop has fed me and
Right.
me and my girlfriend many a days where I had to sell vinyl or whatever,
Right.
you know what I mean? But I mean, you're right, But you heard it here first. We're gonna wrap this up. Again, DJ A1. If you want to hear him, you can come down to Newport News, Virginia. He's doing shows.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can contact him if you want to put a plug in. Right, they can get in touch with you.
Get at me on social media at that DJ A1, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter, so Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, same that DJ A1. We got a lot of tracks on there you might enjoy. And for bookings, get at me at DJ A Supreme. I'm sorry, not DJ. Just hit me at asupremebooking@gmail. There you go.
So you hear it from here. So we're gonna wrap it up. Wax out. Peace.